They want to inflict maximum pain. They want as much collateral damage as humanly possible because they don't want anyone around Donald Trump. They don't want him to have a circle of people he can trust, he can rely on, who can go out there. I mean, if you look at this case right now, he's been in court over the past 2 days, this Letitia James AG case. Every person had testified that my husband, Eric, and my brother-in-law, Don, had nothing to do with any of these valuations. And yet they got dragged into it too. Why would you do that? Maximum pain.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's so much of what that January 6th committee sham nonsense was, which was it wasn't really about anything other than warning people. If you dare step out of line again, you could be on the hot seat next. Don't ever question anything this government does or tells you to do again, because next time it could be you. It might be Donald Trump today. Next time it could be you.
And it will be. I'll give you an example of the game they're playing when it comes to the judge in this Trump lawsuit. AOC made a video after January 6th where she said someone banged on her door. She went and hid in the bathroom, heard a voice say, "Where is she? Where is she?" And she thought she was going to die and all that stuff. What she was doing was making you believe that she thought rioters broke into her office. Immediately, conservatives said her office isn't even in the Capitol building, to which the media responded, there are tunnels connecting it. And then this one surprised the heck out of me. I did the whole timeline. I fact checked everything, and I said her story took place 1 hour before the Capitol was even breached. She was manipulating the context of the day. Most people did not know the timeline. The only thing they knew was that on January 6th, people stormed the Capitol. So when she says on January 6th, someone banged on my door and I was scared, she is lying to you because she knows you don't understand the basic context around this day. What this judge is doing is very, very similar. He says the tax assessor says the property is only worth around 18 to 20 million at Mar-a-Lago. Trump is inflating the value of his properties. He's committing fraud. What do regular people here who don't pay attention? Judge rules Trump committed fraud. But here's the funny thing. Anybody paying attention immediately recognizes the problem here, depending on how deep you go in terms of paying attention. If you're someone like me, I just pull up the actual property, the comparables in Palm Beach and West Palm Beach, and I'm like, Mar-a-Lago is 17 and a half acres from beach to beach, and a third acre goes for, $30 million with a house on it. A lot that's just half acre is like $10-20 million. How is Mar-a-Lago as just land worth less than this? However, anybody with a cursory understanding of real estate knows the values aren't set by the individual. It's appraised by the lender.
Exactly.
So when you mentioned Eric and Don have nothing to do with the evaluation, right? The bank comes in and says, here's what we think it's worth.
They have their own due diligence. They have a fiduciary responsibility to send someone in. They're not going to take my word for it. If I'm like, yeah, I got a house down the street, it's worth $10 billion. You can trust me on that. Of course, they have to look out for themselves. It's a business at the end of the day. That's the crazy part of all of this. And you're right. The truth is that the average person out there probably doesn't understand this kind of minutia, right?
Yep.
All they cared about and all they have ever cared about is that headline, Donald Trump and the word fraud next to it. And that's it. That's the end game for them. They want to inflict maximum damage to him. They want to tie him up. But Luke, you said it. I do believe it's making him stronger. I feel like all of this stuff has shaken people awake. That mugshot, forget it. That mugshot was probably the biggest mistake they ever made. The number of people who have approached me post mugshot and been like, you know what? I really have never paid attention to politics. I wasn't sure I liked Donald Trump, but that mugshot somehow to some people represented a system that had been failing them, that was broken, that was working against them, working against Donald Trump. And they were like, wait a minute. I see what they're doing to this guy, and now their eyes are open, and they're not going to be closed again.
And it actually unified a nation. The Democrats really liked it, and the Republicans really liked it. I made a T-shirt of it right away, and a lot of people were buying it on the left and on the right. It didn't matter, but more importantly, every time they do go after Trump, you see his poll numbers go up, and right now he's higher than he was this entire election cycle, even though he's saying some kind of very interesting things. But just for yourself, I'm kind of curious, as a Trump, do you feel like you're under a spotlight? Do you feel like you're targeted? Do you feel like someone is just waiting to see if you're going to do anything wrong just so they could blow it up in the media?
Every single second of every single day, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, these people are disgusting. And to be honest with you, if it weren't my family and I hadn't had firsthand experience with this sort of stuff, I would say that's really overblown. There's no way. But it's true. They pick apart anything that any of us do. They try to attack us for it. And honestly, you really think that if any of us had, I don't know, obtained a firearm illegally and lied on a federal gun application and then thrown the gun in a garbage can next to a school, we wouldn't be locked up right now. Get the heck out of here. That's the frustrating thing, is the clear double standard that exists between someone with the last name Trump and someone with the last name Biden.
Or just, smoked crack and, bought ladies of the night and, took photos of themselves doing it. I mean, there's controversy on both, sides there, but it's just absolutely crazy how far the media will go and how they will just, in many instances, make stuff up in order to try to frame you guys as really horrible people.
You want a great example?
I was going to ask you, what's one of the craziest ways that the media has attacked you that had no reality at all?
So last year we had a hurricane come through the state. The hurricane hit the western side of the state of Florida. I live on the east coast of Florida. So anyone with a little knowledge of a hurricane knows there are bands of rain that come through. And in between those bands, it's clear. It's fine. My kids were cooped up inside. They canceled school that day. So I took my kids and my dogs just down the neighborhood on a little walk in between the bands of rain. My son was on one of these little motorized tractor things that he had. And I took a video because all of a sudden we got poured on out of nowhere with the rain. I posted it on social media. People were calling for Child Protective Services. Wow. I'm not even joking, to come to my house. There were multiple stories written about how I was an unfit mother. I mean, it's so insane. That's one of the probably least faves of my past couple years.
It's getting crazy, huh?
Dude.
Yeah.
Yes. But I was, as you guys were talking, firstly, you got caught in the rain with your kid. That's I guess normal.
I said, I captioned it character building experience. Cause it is.
Sometimes it rains.
Sometimes it rains. People are like, she's putting her child in danger in a hurricane. Oh my God. Okay.
This Build Back Better, which is like a World Economic Forum thing. Then Biden starts saying it. Okay, is it not? That's not a coincidence, humans.
Well, he got made fun of by, who was it, Boris Johnson, for stealing Build Back Better.
I just constantly.
Yeah,
so the Brits were doing it too. It's
all over Europe.
If this organized 4 different indictments, unrelated, all in within the course of 6 months on Donald Trump. That's not a coincidence either.
All the day after a Hunter Biden or Joe Biden big information drop happened.
But understand, it's a standalone complex and a conspiracy. So there's the bigger picture, which is all these indictments happening. I don't think you need New York to coordinate with Georgia and the federal government. These are people who have Trump derangement syndrome who are going to do these things of their own volition. In fact, as soon as the feds make a move, then Georgia's like, now's our chance. Now we can pile on. Some of this stuff, every time Hunter Biden's indicted, there's a UFO leak or some new indictment of Trump comes out. That seems coordinated and a group of people organizing that at a high level. But all of the attacks on Trump, it's because these people are deranged and they're going to keep doing it. You look at what happened to Brett Kavanaugh with that woman, Swetnick, I think her name was, accusing him of being at parties where they would line up outside of rooms to take turns, just, having their way with women against their will. I'll keep it as family friendly as I can. No one came to her and told her to say it, right? Or my assumption is that. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just that these people are so deranged, they're like, I'll just do it. And they come out of their own volition and it looks coordinated when it often isn't.
Man, I spent my youth believing in people that they would be honest. I just thought if you're good and honest, then more people will be good and honest and we can make a good and honest society. And then I'm learning in my midlife that deceitfulness and evil is the way to lead. Throughout history, that's how they've been doing it. They kill their opponents, they take control, and they say that they were the good guys.
Yeah, there's that tweet I referenced about it was a video of hyenas eating some kind of ungulate alive. They were eating it from the belly, eviscerating it. And the tweet said, it is not the case that the most vicious and evil people are punished. In fact, nature shows us that they are often rewarded. And that was the point, that you watch this poor, I think it was a wildebeest or something, struggling to get up, being devoured alive. And there's an old hacker joke saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I understand Jesus in a way from the Bible. What they said, that he was just they don't know what they're doing, man. And he just let it happen. Because what can you do? It gets to a point where I'm not going to become evil. At least I don't want to. So like, how do I really help society without becoming evil?
Yeah.
How much crazier do you think it's going to get? Because I think we're in the middle of the election cycle, but I think it's going to get crazier.
I agree.
What do you think is going to happen? Because we have the indictments, we have the court hearings, but they're not stopping Trump. They're making him more popular.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe we're in an inroad where the system is becoming more and more desperate. How desperate do you think they will become?
Well, I think they become more desperate by the day, because I think, you look at who they're running on the Democrat side, Joe Biden and apparently Kamala Harris, two of the lowest polling favorability, president, vice president in history. These two are just absolutely horrible, one worse than the other. They have a big problem on their hands. They have no bench on the Democrat side. We seem to have a little bit of a bench on the other side of the aisle. But I think they're getting more desperate by the day, because it must be so frustrating to see all the effort they're putting out against one guy, and it's boomeranging back, and it is having the opposite of the intended result for them. So I'm sure it's going to get a lot worse.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.